So I'm bugging out, right? Because this morning, every morning when I go into work, I record a, a video. And I recorded this morning for about 12 minutes, rambling on. And I upload after I finish recording, I usually upload it to Facebook. So I uploaded it. And then when I get to work, I just happened to check it out and realized that only 2 minutes was recorded. I did all that talking, and I had a good talk this morning too. And I had to now I got to redo it all because I don't really want to miss. I don't want you guys to miss this. So I was talking this morning about Joseph in the pretty coat, and I was relating that mindset that he had with how the mindset we have to have for our network marketing business, for any kind of business. Just so I can, but you don't know, this is I'm doing Phil's, and this is Real Housewives and Husbands of Network Marketing because we are married to the game. Don't matter how rough it gets, we're going to stick it out. That's why I call it Real Housewives and Husbands of Network Marketing. But so if you don't know the story about Joseph, let me give you the story about Joseph. Joseph, first got to go a little bit back further to his father because Jacob was his father. Jacob was actually Israel, who the Israelites, everybody was named after. This is 12 tribes, it's his sons, and Joseph was part of that tribe. But originally, Jacob was Jacob. That's his name before it was changed to Israel. He he met this. He found saw this woman named Rachel, and he fell in love with her. He wanted Rachel, so her father made him work to earn her hand in marriage. But then once he worked to earn her hand in marriage, the father did a trick on him. He made him marry Leah, who is the oldest daughter. So the father felt like the oldest daughter should be married before the youngest daughter. So he kind of tricked Jacob into marrying Leah instead of Rachel. And then he had to work more years to get Rachel. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, he ended up having four baby mamas in the long run. Two of them was wife and two was concubines. And he had babies by all of them. But he loved Rachel. Rachel was his main girl. It's like the woman he was working for. The other Leah, he married her because he had to in order to get to Rachel. The other two women was just his wife's servants who, they got caught up in the mix from the wife having them, whatever. But Rachel was the one he loved. So when him and Rachel had their first child together, because he was married to Leah for a long time, he was having kids by Leah. But then when him and Rachel got married and they had their first child was Joseph. It was a son, and he loved Joseph the best. And he loved Joseph the best because he loved Rachel the best. But that's really messed up because he made his sons know that he loved Joseph the best. And he had another son by Rachel, Benjamin. Benjamin was the baby, but Benjamin was I guess a good little age between Joseph and Benjamin. So, but Joseph had been there the longest, and the boys had felt their father loving Joseph more than them, so they was a little jealous of him. They was they was jealous. Father bought a big, nice, colorful coat for Joseph, and he didn't buy it for the rest of them. And I guess it was a big thing about this coat because that was like a big thing, this coat. But he bought a big, nice coat for Joseph and then about for the rest. He used to do, I guess, little things that kind of rubbed the other sons the wrong way because he showed a lot of favoritism towards one son. Now, when I had my kids a year apart, I tried to make sure that I never showed any like I even Steven everything because I don't feel like you should have a child that you love more. I understand Jacob's situation because he was really after Rachel's who he wanted to marry, and so when they had their first child together, that was a big thing for him. But the boys felt it, so they felt it so deep that one day when Joseph had a dream, and he told them about the dream. He had a dream that well, he told them this dream. He said, I had a dream that I was someplace ruling and all of y'all was bowing down before me. So they was like, oh, they was like upset about that one. Like that was like, oh man, that was like the straw. Like they was just like, I'm done. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. He think he this, he think he that. So what they was doing, they planned on killing him. They actually planned on killing him. So what they did was when they went out that day to go to work, as they worked out in the field, they planned on um, just killing him and then bringing his coat back and telling their father that some wild animals had killed him. But one of the brothers, he wasn't. He understood where it was coming from, but he didn't really want to kill his brother. So he was like, "Listen, let's not kill him. Let's just throw him in the ditch, and then let's leave him. And then some animal's gonna kill him anyway. But at least his blood won't. We won't physically be the ones that killed him." And so they agreed to that. They agreed to let him just die by animals in the woods. Crazy. But anyway, but then what happened was while they was there, uh some guys was coming by who was looking for slaves. So the same brother who was gonna leave him there in the ditch, he didn't really want him to die anyway. So he said, okay, listen, why don't we just sell them to these people that's looking for slaves? He'll be out of our head, we won't see him, but we don't have to kill him. Our brother's death won't be on our hands. So they agreed to that, and so they shipped him out to be with these people. They let these guys take him as a slave. And they took him to Egypt. And when they took him there, actually God is favoring him. This is why no circumstances is bad. It's no such thing as coincidence either. You don't know what the circumstances are. When Yah is the head of your life, you everything kind of works out for itself. And the good thing about Joseph was that he never got a negative attitude. He just always was positive and he went with the flow, never had anything negative to say. He just was, just chill mode all the time. So anyway, he gets brought into slavery and he goes to this guy and the guy finds favor with him. And the guy realizes that, hey, since he's been here, we've been more productive. My business has been thriving and everything's been going really great. So the guy was treating him well because he felt like God favored this guy. It was a blessing that he had him as a slave because he was, so he gave him a lot of freedom and to do things and was nothing. He liked him and he treated him like a human. He didn't treat him really like a slave. He treated him really well. But the man had this crazy wife. So now the man was working a lot because, he was a businessman. He had a lot of money. He was on the road a lot, gone a lot. And so the wife was home with Joseph a lot. So she started coming on to Joseph. Joseph was like, listen, your husband's been good to me. I'm not about to mess that up. I'm just not. But she felt slighted and rejected because, how dare this slave guy not want me? She's throwing herself at him and he's rejecting her. And so she's mad. So now she's like, well, I'm going to get you back since he's not accepting her advances. So what she does is one day she kind of pulls on him and I guess a piece of his garment or something comes off. And when her husband come home, she told her husband that he attacked her. He tried to rape her. So, and she showed his thing as proof that this was what happened. So the husband, he was upset. He was very upset. So he did what a husband would do. He had him thrown in jail. He tried to rape his wife. He gonna believe the wife, so he had him thrown in jail. So now most people think like, oh my God, that's horrible. We got thrown in jail. It is bad. It's horrible. The whole situation was bad, but everything happens for a reason. And Joseph, they didn't act like he got upset. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. I'm sure he wasn't saying, woohoo, I'm going to jail. I'm sure that wasn't part of his plan, but he was, this is something that happened. So he goes in jail. And while he's in jail, one particular night, two of the inmates had dreams. And they both was telling their dream. And he interpreted the dream. The first person said he had a dream about something. I don't remember what it was, but Joseph interpreted. He said, well, in a couple of days, you're going to go back into your master's house, but you're going to die because he's going to cut your head off. And that's exactly what happened. And the other guy, he said, well, you're going to go back and see your servant house. You're going to go back as the cook. And you're going to be good. And that's exactly what happened to him. Now, Joseph said, Joseph said to the guy who was the cook, he said, well, listen, when you get out, Remind them that I'm in here because he was in it for a long time. He's like, I don't think I'm supposed to be in here this long, but they probably forgot that I'm here. So remind them that I'm here. So the guy was like, okay, yeah, I'm around, definitely, most deaf. So the guy gets in there and then he completely forgets about telling them about Joseph. Like he just forgets. And I mean, that's just human nature. People gonna forget. It ain't about them. They're not concerned about it. But he forgot. So now Joseph spends some more time in jail. So then one day, the king, who the guy, the cook worked for, he had a dream. And he was like, I really wish I knew somebody who could interpret my dream and tell me what this dream is about. And that's when the cook remembered Joseph. He was like, yo, oh my gosh. Oh, I completely forgot. When I was in jail, there was this guy in jail too. And I had a dream and whatever. And Bob had a dream too. And we just happened to tell what our dream was, and he interpreted it in exactly what he said happened. What the dream meant is exactly what happened. So the king was like, well, go get him. Bring him here. So we brought him to him and he asked him about his dream. His dream was that when Joseph interpreted the dream, he was saying that for 7 years it's gonna be you're gonna have you have an abundance of food and abundance of this, that, and other. But then 7 years after that, it's going to be 7 years of famine. So Joseph was put in a position where the king let him control the food. During the years in which they were abundant, he saved food, he stored food, he put whole so that during the 7 years of famine, they would be good and they had enough money. And the reason that God put him in that position is because he saved Israel. He saved his family. He saved everybody's family, really, but the main thing is he saved his family. And what happened in that dream that he originally had, when his brothers came to end up bowing down towards him, that's exactly what happened. They didn't know who he was. He was an Israelite in Egypt, but they looked so much alike that he didn't know that he was. A matter of fact, it's a carving in the wood that we see all the time. And somebody said this is Joseph. If you ever see a carving where there's huge, humongous kings sitting down, I think it's two on one side and two on the other side, and then it's a little short man in the middle. That's what they said. It was they said that was Joseph because he was a normal size. The other ones were, well, back then they had giants. The angels had come down and started making babies with humans, and a lot of the people came out as giants. There's a lot of giants back then. And he was not, because he was part of the Israelite, and their bloodline was never corrupted by the Nephilim. So he was a normal size man. And you see the pictures, they say that's Joseph in those pictures. Now, his brothers did end up coming, bowing down for him. He was not bitter towards them. He kept a positive attitude. He did play a little trick on them, but other than playing a little trick on them, he did nothing else. And he just had a positive attitude. And that's how you have to be. That's how you have to be in any kind of business. Things gonna happen. Bad things are gonna happen. Bad things can happen in life, but you can't see the bad things and then go crumble up in a ball and like give up on the world because of something bad happened to you. Because the bad things usually lead to good things if you learn your lesson. Now the thing is, you have to learn your lesson when these lessons come. Bad things come to us so that we can learn lessons. Now, if you don't learn a lesson, you'll just keep repeating that same cycle over and over and over again until you learn the lesson. Till you learn the lesson, then it'll disappear. But you got to just remain positive, remain focused, and remain genuine. Like just have that kind of faith. Joseph had the kind of faith. He knew that he knew where his blessings came from. He was never bitter in it, even though he went from being well loved by his father, then being hated by his brother, sold into slavery, thrown into jail. All for none of this had anything to do with him. He was doing nothing to be put in any of these situations. But then at the end, he became the second ruler in Egypt over everything and everybody. And he saved so many people from dying because of his smarts and his intuition on how to save and make this food grow in abundance so that they can have 7 years worth of abundance and feed other nations as well and feed their own nation. So you got that in you too. You got that same thing, and you just have to remain positive, learn how to be positive and believe, have that feeling or know and trust that everything's going to be all right. That's all. Just know and trust that everything will be all right. And it really doesn't have to be just in network marketing business, but it could be in any kind of business and just in your life in general. So that's it. I just wanted to come up because I was so upset that I wasn't able to get out what I thought I had got out earlier today. So y'all have a blessed and awesome evening. I am actually going to be coming up with something really good for you. If you haven't gotten already your hands on my book, the How to Develop the MLM Top Earner Mindset, it's absolutely free. You can go get it right now. Just go to www.mlmtopearnermindset.com/ebook. I'll leave the link down in the first comment section, okay? Or somewhere around here anyway. And you go get a free copy. Go get it. Because mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, it's you're not going to be successful in too much anything that you do. Have a blessed and awesome weekend. Bye-bye.